IMSA F1H2O World Championship heads back to magnificent Doha, Qatar for round 3 of the 2014 season. This is perhaps the most dynamic, wealthiest, and fastest growing city in the region, if not the world. Doha is a boomtown, with towers sprouting out of the sands, green and carefully tended parks, endless golden desert dunes just minutes from the city waiting to be explored. There are incredible monuments, all within an ultra-modern infrastructure. A city and a nation awash in natural resources, with a keen and focused vision of where it wants to be now and in the future. Doha isn't just a modern, futuristic metropolis, it's also the capital of a nation that is firmly rooted in its history, customs, and traditions. Touting itself as the powerboating capital of the world, Doha is hosting the F1H2O Tour for the second time this year, and this is its 10th year on the F1H2O calendar, making it a regular and very popular fixture for teams, drivers, and fans alike. The Grand Prix of the Middle East is underway. There are 16 drivers from 8 teams competing in Doha. Leading the World Championship by 25 points is 3-time defending World Champion Alex Carella of Qatar team. He's coming off another dominating win in round 2 in Liuzhou, where he led from start to finish to make it 3 Grand Prix wins in a row for the Italian, who has his sights on equaling Guido Cappellini's record of 4 consecutive world titles this year. Carella's teammate Sean Torrente has had a shaky start to the year, but a brilliant performance in Liuzhou saw him go from 15th on the starting grid to finish the race 4th and earn 9 crucial points going into round 3 in Doha. This is where he won his first and only F1H2O Grand Prix race. Qatar team will be under pressure from Philippe Chiappe of CTIC China team, who has yet another new boat. Despite starting the year with a runner-up finish in round 1, he barely raced 2 laps in China before electrical problems put an end to his race.
We do make a lot of tests for my new boat. It's completely new. It's the first time on the water, first time in Formula 1, and I hope for this boat is better to hold. And I think it's good afternoon. We do good result tomorrow.
The big sensation from round 2 was multiple F2 world champion Eric Stark of Team Nautica. He had a brilliant race in China, finishing runner-up behind Carella, and he's currently sitting in second position in the world standings on 15 points.
Being on the F1 tour is really cool because many of the guys is like big names you have known for many years, and like last race when I heard in my radio like Tony is behind you, like oh shit. So it's really cool and to drive with Carella and Sean and Tony and Chapin and Sami. So yeah, this is a dream come true.
2-time world champion Sami Celio has to adjust to his new boat if he's to make up for a disappointing season so far. In China, he was behind Carella in second position when a fuel pump problem dropped him to 8th. F1 GC Atlantic team's Duarte Benavente of Portugal had a bad time of it in practice. His boat delaminated. His bad luck began in China, where he'd collided with Francesco Cantando right at the start. Fortunately, in Doha, it was Cantando who came to Benevente's rescue, lending him a spare motorglass boat. The course on Doha Bay is surrounded by the picturesque Corniche, and it's perhaps the toughest circuit on the tour.
The problem is the wave that are coming from the sea. One lap you have the wave, the lap after you don't have it, so you have sometimes you remove the throttle and there is no wave, sometimes you keep the throttle, you have a big wave that you can see and you make mistakes. So
skyscrapers on the side, they do not help because when you pass one in the middle you can find wind, hard wind that 1 second before was not there, so it's a challenging circuit.
There is big waves like the rollers coming, so in March I saw Philip Kjaap and Jonas Andersson take the nosedive. Because of this they are so experienced drivers, and anyway it happens, so I need to, that's why I never go first on the water. It's better for me, especially here, to look.
The tricky conditions means prop selection is crucial here, as teams try to nail the perfect setup.
So for this course, what we try to find is it's a mix between top end for the long backstretch and getting through the yellow and the red together, and then off of this number 2 turn red going to the yellow. That's a really hard area to get through the course with a big propeller that you have for top end on the back. So what you try to do is find something that's really, really big, or too big, let's say, and then step it back a little bit so you can find that sweet spot in between what's going to work, because you have to give up a little bit to get something. That's just the way it is.
I need to avoid some stupid mistakes, because if I will lose equipment it hurts me a lot. There is private apartment, my car's inside this, so I sell everything to be here, because this is my life, my passion, and my way for the future. I love powerboating, and I am the pure evidence that if you're even unable to do something, but if you really want, you can achieve it.
Qualifying. It's a 3-session format. 5 boats eliminated in Q1, another 5 eliminated in Q2, and the top 6 boats make it into Q3 for a shootout with the course all to themselves.
The conditions are strange, it's changing all the time, and one lap is okay, the other lap it's big rollers, so...
It looks like Doha, it looks great, and then you see stuff like this come across, so it's...
If it's rough for everybody, not only for me. So we'll see. Thank you.
In Q1, Duarte Benavente made a disappointing exit in his borrowed boat. Also out were Bartek Marszałek of Motorglass F1 team, and Caldwell drivers Ivan Brigada and Thomas Cermak. In Q2, Torrente and Schiap set the fastest times early and just waited the session out. Eric Stark and Sami Celio couldn't make the cut for Q3, both with mechanical trouble, while Marit Stromoy nabbed a place in the top 6 final shootout with a last-minute fastest lap that bumped Francesco Cantando out in Q2. Q3, the final 6 boats with 2 laps each and the course all to themselves, trying to set their fastest lap times in a bid for pole. Stromoy went out first and gave it her all, but only managed a lap time of 52.37 seconds.
It was really choppy, and I also met a lot of wind, and we are running down on the fuel also, so it was difficult for me in the shootout, but I'm happy with the Q2.
Jonas Andersson went out next. He won pole position here in round 1, and he was flying out there yet again, breaking the 50-second mark to record a time of 49.86.
Right now I think I beat 2, so I start baddest as number 4, so quite good, but it was very rough, so I hope the conditions stay for the other guys.
The Swede was followed by Kuwaiti Yusuf Al-Rubayan of F1 GC Atlantic team. Al-Rubayan had to settle for a time of 50.39, but he was unable to unseat Jonas Andersson. Next up, Alex Carella. He flew around the circuit to set a blistering time of 49.56, nabbing provisional pole from Andersson. After the Italian, Schiap. Schiap proving comfortable in his new boat, beating Carella's time by exactly 0.4 of a second. Jean Torrente, last man out, fastest driver in Q2. Schiap watched on as Torrente hit the course. The American thundered through the course and needed just one lap to record an incredible lap time of 48.65 to nab pole position.
Hey! Yes! Man, the boat was so fast today. So fast. I just had to put a solid lap, and that's all that was. It was solid. It wasn't spectacular, but it got the job done. And man, I'm so happy. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time.
The starting grid, Torrente leads the pack, then Schiap and Carella, Anderson fourth ahead of Al-Rubayyan and Stromoy, while Celio has some ground to cover in ninth. Build-up to the race was tense, nerves were taut, drivers focused. Conditions were rough, with rollers coming into the bay. The starting lineup, Torrente on pole, Schiap second on the grid ahead of Carella, Celio down at 8th, Al-Rubayyan behind him, and Eric Stark at the back because of an engine change.
Yeah, I'm starting from the back, and now I need to show everyone I can handle the boat, and get my boat up in the field.
For sure it's going to be a tough start, but hopefully we get through the first corner, and then it's a long race, so anything can happen.
We will go, I think, for a short setup, or try to get the maximum for the first lap and try to get maximum on one position and be maybe second after the first corner. That would be cool for me for the championship.
The final seconds seem like an eternity as drivers and crews hold their breath, waiting for the lights. Is underway as 15 drivers dash down the 450-meter straightaway to turn 1. Torrente leads the field. Eric Stark has a good start off the pontoon, speeding away from the pack, going head-to-head with Al-Rubayyan. Zhongzi Wei just avoids a collision with Philip Roms. Schiap nudges ahead, but Torrente with the inside pole advantage. Cantando getting left behind as Anderson sprints away with Al-Rubayyan on the other side. Torrente coming around, the commitment boy maintaining his lead, followed by Schiap, who was able to hold off Carella. Al-Rubayyan challenging Anderson. Torrente leads around the trickiest turn on the course. Schiap in second, Carella third, Cantando in fourth, Moritz Stromoy in fifth, going head-to-head with Al-Rubayyan, followed by Anderson in seventh. And then Sami Celio, and Eric Stark is already up in ninth, right beside Celio, with the rest of the field coming through. Anderson chasing Moritz Stromoy on the 500-meter straightaway to the right-hander, straight into the sun. And Eric Stark zooms by, leaving Anderson in his wake. Eric Stark strengthens his lead over Anderson, who gives chase to the two Team Nautica drivers in 6th and 7th, with Al-Rubayyan in 5th. As the boats come around turn number 5, Torrente in command, then Schiap and Carella. Eric Stark in the number 51 DAC boat, locking horns with his teammate Stromoy in her Baba boat. Stark powers ahead, coming around the turn. Jonas Andersson of Team Sweden is also passing Stromoy. She seems to be having problems. Stark now up to 6th from 15th position. Great start to the race from the young Swede. Celio back in 9th ahead of Bartek Marszałek. Ivan Brigada and Leo Zhang. Francesco Cantando of Motorglass F1 team, who has the most Grand Prix wins of any driver and 42 career podiums, in fourth ahead of Yusuf Al-Rubayyan. Al-Rubayyan staying in hot pursuit of Cantando. Stromoy has to worry about Sami Celio on her tail now. The Finnish driver has never won here despite pole wins, and he's eager to make up for his unfortunate Q2 exit. But first, he needs to pass Stromoy. Celio and Stromoy go neck and neck around boy number 1. Stromoy on the inside, Celio trying to get some clear water on the outside. It's a drag race down to turn number 2, and what a move from Celio. He hurls himself into that turn in dramatic style, bumping Stromoy down another position. Philipp Schiap in second, getting some excellent speed in his new Moore boat. Problems for Schiap's teammate Zhang Ziwei, his engine caught on fire. Zhang jumped out of his cockpit to escape the blaze, diving in the water for safety as his boat burns away. Incredibly, Jesper Force experiences almost exactly the same problem at the same time in the same part of the course. What are the chances? The Osprey Rescue Team and the QMSF put out the fire and bring Leo Zhang to safety. Yellow flag.
My engine stopped in the turn number 2, and then I tried to switch off the fuel pump, and in that second the engine just exploded, boom, and then my radio man told me it's on fire, and then finished.
No, I don't know, I just came on the straight here, and then the engine was just losing power, and then it just started to fire. So I don't know, shit happens.
With the 2 young former F4 drivers out, the field bunched up again for the rolling restart as teams awaited the green flag. Green flag goes up from race commissioner Luis Ribeiro. Anderson caught in the spray. Celio speeds past him on the outside. Carella always dangerous at the restart. Can he overtake Schiap or even his teammate Torrente? Torrente opens his lead, but Carella is head-to-head with Schiap. Carella takes it on the inside. Carella overhauls Schiap, bumping the Frenchman down to third, and Schiap didn't even see it coming. Carella is now in second position, and we have an all-Qatari 1-2 here at the Middle East Grand Prix. Anderson in Celio's spray as he gives hot pursuit of the Finn, trying to reclaim his lost position as they come around boy number 4. Torrente firmly in control, but with Carella breathing down his neck. And Schiap relentlessly trying to find a way past Carella. The field comes around boy number 2. Cantando and Al-Rubayyan going neck and neck into the turn. Al-Rubayyan barrel rolls! His boat is totaled, but Al-Rubayyan was unhurt and safe. Here it is again. The boat sinks in a trough, losing traction, and that sends him over, doing 2 barrel rolls. The Osprey Rescue Team once again on the scene as the Kuwaiti driver gets out of his boat and is brought back to shore. That's another yellow flag.
We tried to fight with Cantando. It was really a good fight, but in the end it was hard for me. I pushed to the limit for the turn, even me or him, but I think my boat want to flip, that's all.
Unfortunate for the Kuwaiti, who's been on an upward graph for the past 2 seasons. The boats are in position for the restart. Green flag goes up. Torrente, followed by Carella, then Schiap, third. Ivan Brigada overhauls Marit Stromoy, who continues to slide down the field. Francesco Cantando trying to get the jump on Schiap, but Schiap holds off the Italian. Torrente and Carella lead the pack through that infamous boy number 2, followed by Schiap. Eric Stark is in Celio's wake, trying to keep up with the Finn, but Celio leaves the Swedish youngster behind. Celio continues his surge, passing Cantando to move into 4th position. Great driving from Celio. Cantando bumped down to 5th, Stark in 6th. Carella really closes that gap with Torrente, but Torrente holds on. Contando tries to overtake Celio, but it's no use. Celio's too fast in his new Baba boat. Anderson is in 7th. Ivan Brigada, a former Grand Prix champion, in 8th. Polish driver Marszałek in 9th. Sean Torrente is going from strength to strength, looking for his 2nd Grand Prix win here. Carella following him through the turn. He rips through boy number 2. What a mistake. He'll be disqualified, and that's a 3rd yellow flag as the boy is replaced. What a dramatic afternoon it's been, and it's all happened on the same turn boy. Carella heads back to the pontoon, and he'll be kicking himself for that. Green flag! That moves Schiap back into 2nd, and Sami Celio in 3rd now as he tries to take on Schiap, but Schiap holds off the fin. Just a few laps left in the 36-lap, 45-minute race. Torrente has been unbeatable out there, but he has to bring it home. Behind them, Eric Stark passing Francesco Contando as their race-long battle continues. But Contando strikes back, reclaiming his position from Stark. This time it's Jonas Anderson that Stark has to look out for as the 2 Swedes lock horns. Anderson coming around the outside, but Stark steps on the throttle and maintains his position, holding off his fellow Swede. Jonas Anderson back in 6th, behind Stark in 5th, and Contando in 4th. It's been a non-stop battle between these 3 boats right from the get-go. Sean Torrente narrowly missed out on the World Championship last year, runner-up to his teammate Carella. But with Carella out of this race, he'll be able to close the gap significantly in the world standings going into round 4. Anderson makes another move on Eric Stark, but Stark stays tight on the inside to hold off Anderson. Anderson surges ahead on the way to the right-hander, and he passes Stark. Experience trumps youth this time. Ivan Brigada putting in a great race as he holds off Bartek Marszałek to the delight of the Caldwell team. Anderson giving hard chase to Contando, and he hooks it, almost going over. But he manages to save it without losing his position. There it is again. Just 6 laps left in the race, and Torrente is on target for a win, enjoying an almost 7-second lead over Schiap, who holds Celio off for 2nd place. Anderson continues his dogged pursuit and manages to pass Contando to move up into 4th. Great racing from the Swede. No changes as the race enters the final lap, and Sean Torrente has it, winning his 2nd ever race here, once again in Doha. Schiap, a well-deserved runner-up, and Sami Celio with a much-needed 3rd place. Final results, Torrente reigns. Anderson completes a great race in 4th. Contando pips Stark for 5th. Best results so far for Caldwell with Brigada in 7th. Roms, Marszałek, and Cermak complete the top 10. Celebration time also for Caldwell.
I don't remember one race also difficult. Very, very dangerous. Not rough, it's very strange, and one lap is okay, the lap after it's completely rough, but it's funny.
The world standings after round 3 sees Carella's lead shrink to just 10 points over Schiap, with Torrente moving up to 3rd on 29 points and Stark in 4th. The team standings: Team Qatar head and shoulders above the field with 69 points. China CTIC 2nd on 35 points, with Mad Croc Baba on 28 points in 3rd.
Yeah, it was, first of all, we had a very difficult weekend. We have all the kind of the technical problems before this morning, and luckily yesterday night we fixed all, and I was able to do very good laps and catching the guys and passing them, and finally in the 3rd. I'm very pleased for them.
You know what? Honestly, this is the best weekend in Formula One for me. I swept everything. I think I was fastest in every session. I won the pole. We won the race. It's onward and upward from here. We just carry this momentum to Abu Dhabi, and I really got to thank my team manager Khalid. I've never been so down as I was in China after qualifying, and he picked me up, and he showed a faith in me that I didn't even have at the moment. So I need to thank him for that.
That brings round 3 to a close in Doha, Qatar. See you in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates for round 4 of the 2014 UIM F1H2O World Championship.